Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jared at 3C's Recreation. Last week, I did a really cool video on Danny Lewis's 2025 Beta 300 Race Edition. It was his factory support hard enduro bike. Video took off, I did great. Since then, Marcus came, taking that bike home, and he's turned in his 2023 Beta Xtrainer. Now if you remember, we built this bike for him, purpose built for him to go to the hard enduros on it and compete. And so at the beginning, we did a bunch of cool like setup videos and what we did to it. Then there's a bunch of cool race videos on the channel. So scroll down through, check all those out. But let's show you what the bike looks like after 2.5 years of really hard abuse. We're pretty proud of this bike and what it's accomplished. So as far as just Beta in general, you know, up until we built this, nobody had taken a Beta Xtrainer and done any kind of like pro class hard enduros on them. You can see Mark did all, this is the first year, this is back in 23. This was at the end of the year, some series that he ran there. So it was pretty cool. We took a Xtrainer, gave people around the world really a lot of content on what you can do with one. And we think that's cool because people always kind of looked at the Xtrainer as like, you know, the name of it, Xtrainer, like beginner. Nobody can have fun on it. It's not super capable. Well, we kind of proved this bike with what you really can do with them. Right away, the main thing you're going to see that we did is we put the KYB forks on it. Now, I happened to come across this set of forks. It actually came out of Florida. Customer went with Olin's and he sold me these, so I got a really good deal on them. We sent the forks to Beta and they shortened them. So because the whole Xtrainer, to get it to ride right, we wanted the chassis to be balanced. They shortened that for us, and Beta made us a custom shock. So since this time when they built us this, there's a program now where you can have fully custom stuff built for your Beta Xtrainer. But this was kind of one of the first shocks that they built right out of the race department for us. Back when Bryce, I don't want to say back when, but the program was just getting going, and it was really cool that they supported us and helped us out with that shock because it really completed the package. We thought it was important to upgrade the suspension because a rider like Mark's caliber, in between like the hard technical stuff, there are still really fast sections of hard enduros. You have to get from one split to the other. And so Mark's racing like full speed GNCC type stuff. So he still needed fully capable suspension. Now, if you're just at home bebopping around in the woods, you don't have to spend the money on that stuff. And of course, for us to do the forks, we had to do different 48 mil triple clamps. And we happen to have a BRP. This is like the rubber mount. It was pretty cool. We had that in stock, so it helped us out because we only had to buy the lower. We had the upper already in stock. So the handguards and the handlebars have been changed a bunch of times. I think the handguards are pretty much all original. You can see all the scrapes and scratches. Mark said he never went through one set of levers in 2.5 years because he had these wraparound handguards on here. Now, he did go through like 4 sets of handlebars. It just kind of, the nature of hard enduro, the bikes are flipping down hills, so I think he's sheared a couple sets off, you know, close to the end of the knuckle there. And so he's replaced the bars, but he's never had to replace the levers. So kudos to anybody that runs like wraparound handguards in those situations. They really help out. We put the number plate on there, got rid of the headlight, cleaned all that up. In the front, we did the Enduro Engineering radiator braces. And again, these are stock radiators. And I can't begin to explain to you how abusive these hard enduros are and watching Mark flip these things down the hills. But these guards did amazing because they kind of wrap around the sides. They're a front mount. Look at how straight that radiator still is. Like, and even if it was bent like a pretzel, I would still be impressed. You can see in the back here, here's the cooling fan kit. That's a stock cooling fan kit, by the way. And if you look up in here, there's our Samco hose kit. Now, if you watch our video on that, we were not impressed with the Samco hose kit. You can see we actually lengthened it. You can see like that splitter in the middle there. We had to add that because when you put the IMS tank on, it really pushed the hose kit, and the hose kit became not long enough because it had to bend more around the bigger gas tank. If you didn't run the big gas tank, you're fine. It didn't put the pressure on the hose right there like this kit did. So just to kind of go there, this is the IMS oversized tank. We thought that was important because the Xtrainer only comes with a 2.3 gallon stock. We needed to make sure some of those hard enduros, I mean, it's like a 4 or 5 hour slugfest. I know there's times where you can kind of make it back to the pits and try to get fuel, but you don't want to run out of gas in the middle of a hard enduro. So we did add the kickstart kit. We think that's so important. Anytime, let's say if the cooling fan was running too much and it drained the battery and your electric start quit because you're starting the bike thousands of times at a hard enduro, like literally you're 3/4 of the way up a hill and you're going to stall or you're going to shut it off like 50 times just because you need to catch your breath. So we thought having a backup Kickstarter on there was super critical. That is the stock starter, and it's got thousands of starts on it. If you watch any hard enduro videos, they're constantly halfway through the videos like ding, ding, zing, zing. They're always starting their bikes. They're always shutting them off. Now this is not the stock clutch cover. At the Tennessee Knockout this year, Mark caught something and it punched a hole in the stock one, lost all the oil. What's funny is Mark didn't even know. Like, he got back in the pits, we put the bike up on the stand, and if you watch our Tennessee Knockout video, you'll see this action in there.
Beta trailer first.
Try that.
Try that. If not, I'll.
All right, guys. Thanks to Bulletproof Designs. Check this out right here. They just hooked us up with this clutch cover. Mark smashed his. I don't know where it went. You guys have already seen it.
Sitting right there.
And huge thanks to them, because they could have charged us for it, and they didn't. So
here's the clutch cover.
Jason went over and told them we were one of the largest paid dealers in the country, and they hooked us up. So huge thanks to Bulletproof Designs. You're in the video. They'll get some Instagram posts. Thank you guys so much. And we're like, Mark, your clutch cover's broke. He's like, what? These motors are so strong. So this is a 100% stock motor after 2.5 years of hard abuse. That is the stock head, stock piston, stock everything, stock rad valve. Actually, not rad valve. We did that, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it's the same rad valve from the beginning, is what I should say. Stock clutch pack, even with no oil at the Tennessee Knockout. It's incredible how long these motors can last. In the abuse, this isn't like he lets the clutch out, a super comfortable trail ride. He's on the clutch all the time with this thing. It's so impressive. We did the Enduro Engineering skid plate, and they helped us with this build. It was pretty cool back when we built this. They helped us with the rad guards, the skid plate, and then they helped us with that rear rotor guard, which we'll get to in a minute here. And you can see that brake tip is kind of bent in pretty good, so we might have to pull that out. We've had to re-weld tabs back on the frame for both foot pegs. So in one race, Mark lost both foot pegs one weekend. So he raced for 2.5 hours with no foot pegs. And I don't know if you've ever ridden that long without foot pegs, but he basically used the rear brake as the foot peg, which blew the brakes out because he had to rest his foot somewhere. So he lost all rear brakes, but at least he had somewhere to put his foot. On the other side, I think he just had to pick it up. So he was cramped for like 4 days after that race just from his stomach muscles. You can see we did the fast. This is the brake clevis that tightens that all up there. Now, the exhaust on this originally would have been the FMF performance pipe for the cross trainer. So they make a specific head pipe, comes out of here. It says FMF performance pipe. It's right in the Beta website. You can purchase them there. This bike, Mark has like 4 or 5 pipes in constant rotation. You can see how many times he's blown this pipe back out. So when I say blown back out, every time we get like major dents in these things, you can pressurize them and then use a torch and it'll pop the dents back out. So Mark's got like 4 pipes, and this at this point looks like a standard 300 pipe. Just so you know, standard pipes will fit on the cross trainer. There's still tons of clearance everywhere. I mean, nowhere near the coolant hoses. So stock pipe there. This would have been the Beta Cross Trainer FMF performance pipe, and that's all that's left of the FMF stickers from the years of just, I mean, look at that. And as we come to the back, you can see the skid plate has a linkage guard on it, and that's pretty much wore all the way through, just some slamming into rocks. Look at how abused the swing arm is, just all the different rock sections he's been through. Look how important those rotor guards are. It's absolutely insane how much of abuse that thing has taken. And it's still away from the rotor. It's still way out there. And then look at these rims. Just, can you imagine how many rocks these things have been around? Now on here, Mark just threw a stock rear tire on this thing just to get it back up here to the shop. He normally runs, I'll show you real quick. These are the Dunlop tires up here. This is his favorite tire now, is the EN91EX. He loves this tire. Here's the Michelin version, and then here's the IRC. We have a selection of everything here at the shop. The first Hard Enduro we went to, we didn't really know what to run for tires. So back then, I had this one set up for my kids' bikes because this is a 118, and this was the 81 back then. They didn't have the 91 yet. And we've learned so much since then. So Mark went to his first Hard Enduro with this with a standard bib in it. So it was a narrower tire and it had way too much pressure in it. And since then, now we're running these 91s that are 140 wide, so they're a lot wider tire, and the bibs are basically like 0 PSI. So we've learned a lot as far as tire setup. Look at this little guy's pretty much lost its life there, so we'll rip that off, put a new one on. He doesn't go through a ton of brakes. Obviously, like Hard Enduros aren't like super high speed. You're not wearing the brakes out as fast. Probably gone through a couple sets, but that's it. Here's a better look at that silencer on there. It's a Turbine Core 2. The FMF for the cross trainer there. So if you guys are trying to build a cross trainer at home for gearing wise, that's a 12 and this is a 49. So if you're curious on what the pro hard enduro guys are running, 1249 is what he really liked on this. Again, look at the swing arm on this side. Isn't that crazy? This all the years of abuse. Now we have gone through probably 2 or 3 of those chain guides just because, like the other side, they're just catching so much abuse. And after a while, they're going to get deformed and kind of push the chain out of center, which you don't want. So keep an eye on that if you have one, or a bike in general. Just make sure that your chain guide isn't getting deformed and pushed one way or the other. We want to make sure it's feeding the chain like it's supposed to be. When we originally built this bike, there was a couple main things we did right away. One was we used the Boysen rad valve. This is a really cool product that these guys are offering. There's different setups now. You can get 2 or 3 different rad valve setups. One's for hard enduro, one's for high speed stuff. I'll lay them out here in a minute and I'll show you guys those because we still have a bunch of that kind of stuff here, still working with those guys. So we went to their rad valve. Here's some of these options from Boysen. So you can see if you have oil injection, you got the port still on top there, but look at the construction quality of these things. They're so clean. They offer 3 different feels. You got the torque version, you got the sprint version. This is going to give you the standard feel. So that's oil injected. And then over here, if you have like a race edition, you don't want oil injection, there's no port on top, same product, and you have the same 3 options. Now we've worked with these guys in the past. We've done like test fitment back when they're first coming out with stuff. So check these guys out if you're looking for an upgrade. The jetting we didn't change a lot because everybody calls and asks what's our secret jetting. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share 2 more secrets with you guys. So stay tuned for that at the end. I'm going to share 2 things with you guys that we use. So Boysen rad valve, they said they wanted the jetting a little leaner, but by the time we added the pipe and then the open air filter cage, if you look on this thing here, if I can get it to pop out with one hand, this air filter cage is the open cage, right? So we opened this bike right up. We took the cross trainer idea and kind of turned it back into a 300RR. So standard pipe, standard air filter cage. The jetting we kind of kept right where it was because this wanted it leaner, just their design and their idea. What's cool with this IMS tank is you can still get to the spark plug if you need to. It's a quick pop up and right back down. This is the Enduro Engineering slave cylinder guard. This one's nice because it's got this piece that comes up and you can see how sharp it is on the bottom. There's definitely been some chain smack hitting that. And I think Mark's lost like 3 or 4 chains during the races. He's had to actually, usually he carries the Master Link with him now, but I think he's lost 2 or 3 chains. He's had to roll the chain back on a bunch. I know he was in a section with David Knight actually, and they were joking and Mark was like, put his bike up on a rock and rolled it backwards and got the chain back on. So kind of a cool little story. He's got the gut seat cover on here, and this is literally the battery he runs. This is just a stock battery, nothing special. It's just a GET lithium battery. That's not stock. This is what we run in our bikes, I should say. So with a GET, we keep these in stock here. If you want a part number, it's right there if you guys are trying to snag one of these. This is just the rear tug strap here. Of course, you got the front tug strap. Now the front tug strap doesn't do as much as, unless it's another competitor, fans can't jump in and help you. So if like another racer is like, hey, let's work together to get the section, then they could use this one. But Mark really used this a lot because you could pick up the back of the bike, move it over a little bit, especially if it's like down in a ravine. On the front, on this side, now this is the stock wire harness. It's nothing special, except we did modify it so we can just run a kill and a start switch. But they don't have like a race harness for the cross trainers, so it's still 100% stock wire harness on this bike. We did a front rotor guard, and this one's, you can see how it's lived a better life. Look at all the scratches and nicks all the way up through here. The front rims is tore up too. And on this side, you can see he redid that foot peg as well. Much stronger mounts. Now don't be at home thinking, oh man, my foot pegs are gonna fall off. That's not the case. Mark's sandwiching this bike in between really bad spots. When it's flipping down a hill, it's catching and ripping. So that's pretty extreme use for why we lose foot pegs. So I mentioned I'm gonna give you guys 2 tips and secrets that we run here at the shop on our cross trainer. And the first one, right away, I haven't told anybody this, we run this in all of our race bikes. This is the Motul 300V. This is their gear oil. This is by far our favorite oil in the market for any clutch oil stuff. I don't really share that often. I don't like to say it too much, but I'm gonna in this video. So we found with Mark with super low speed conditions, that oil is by far the coolest running. It keeps the clutch working the best. I'm not getting paid to say that. It's just all the oils that we've tried, that stuff works so incredibly well. And the second thing that we found works really good, is this coolant. We really recommend, now you cannot let this freeze. Do not let the bike freeze. We actually keep one of these, we zip tie it right in the handlebar in the off season. That way, if this starts to gel up, and we don't leave the bike outside, but we just can't take any chances. So those are the two things that we would certainly recommend. Now, if you're riding cold weather, please do not use this. You want to use their regular blue engine ice. But if it's a summer race bike, that's what we run in. That's the combo we run in all of our bikes. It's worked really well for us. I want to thank you guys for following along last couple years of this bike build. A ton of calls. People call all the time like, hey, what'd you guys really do? What's really going on with it? That's truly it. Anybody has the capability of building this bike. Basically some simple mods, some suspension packages, and it's all about the rider, really. I mean, you could give the best riders in the world a simple bike and they're going to do great on it. But this cross trainer has been bulletproof for us. It's been a great bike. We're not getting rid of it. So I think Jared Fortner, Mark's brother, is actually going to take this bike now and run it in hard enduros as well. So it's going to stay in the 3Cs program. If you're watching our videos in the future, this is going to be the same bike still being used. Enjoy the ride. We'll see you on the trail.